Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you guys all had a great evening on Wednesday. I hope you're off to a good morning on Thursday. It's kind of like a misty, like light rain day, which, you know, sometimes you wake up and it's just cold or just gray and rainy and like, today's like a pretty rainy day, like a pretty spring rainy day. So it's kind of like, okay, this is all right. I can handle these kind of rainy days. This is nice. And I also believe it's a perfect day to make carrot cream cheese muffins. So we're going to get started here in just a minute, but I just want to give people another minute or two to log in and get settled. So I'm just going to start grating my carrots because this is probably the longest thing that takes. Ooh. And hopefully not make too much noise. But grating carrots can take a little while, so I've got to grate 2 of them. So I thought I would just kind of get started with at least one of them so that I'm halfway through it, so you don't have to stare and watch me grate carrots in silence. So, but anyway, I hope that we are all off to a good start. I hope you guys are excited about carrot cream cheese muffins. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's Pop-Tart. I have to be perfectly honest. I had a Pop-Tart this morning, the brown sugar cinnamon, and it was everything that I was hoping it would be. The glaze had hardened like the traditional Pop-Tarts do. Oh, it was so good. I was like, yeah, I actually think, I mean, they were good yesterday, but I actually think leaving them sit for a day allows them to kind of develop a little bit more flavor. So I was pretty stoked about that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So I hope you guys, if you made them, I'd love to see how yours turned out. I'm also curious how your pie dough turned out, because I'm not gonna lie, I just, me and pie dough, ugh. But after I ate that Pop-Tart this morning, I'm like, okay, I'd do that again. That was worth it. So anyway, so I'm just grating a carrot just to kind of get started. And apparently flicking it all over myself. So this particular grater is real big. It's a more like big, usually when I grate carrots for, I have a piece of carrot on me, there it is. Usually when I grate carrots, it's with a really small grater. So I'm just gonna move this just a smidge. Maybe I'll put you over here. There, is that a little bit better? Yes, that's better. Okay, cool, I can see both. Usually when I do it, it's, I really do have carrot all over me. It's with the smaller grater so that it doesn't, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Even in the directions, it didn't say use the smaller one, but I like the smaller one because it just seems to be a little bit more, what's the word? I don't know, like not obvious with carrots, you know, biting into carrots, but this is really all I have right now, so I'm just going to have to use it. So, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this one right now. So this is, like I said, this is like the longest part of this whole muffin thing. So we're just going to knock it out and get it done right now. Which the nice thing is that we only need a cup of grated carrots. If you've ever made a carrot cake, you can appreciate why I'm like totally cool with just doing a cup. Because grating carrots, especially with the smaller grater, forever. I mean, it's worth it in the end, but oh my gosh, if you don't have a food processor that grates and you got to do it by hand, after a while you're kind of questioning your sanity. So anyway, we're almost there. Yay! So since I'm using a bigger grater, I'm going to actually do a little bit more than the 1 cup because I'm actually still doing what it called for, which was roughly 2. Let me get all the carrots off of me again. Roughly 2 medium-sized carrots. So I actually did that, but it's going to come out to be like, this looks like it's going to be like 1.5 cups, maybe even a little bit more. So just so you know it's actually the same in terms of the recipe. It's just a bigger amount because they're bigger shards of carrot. Okay. So now we're going to get started. Once again, I have no space. We are going to start with, you want to make a cream cheese mixture. So this is cream cheese that I have melted in well, not melted, softened in the microwave for about 40 seconds. It's like a consistency of mayonnaise, like real thick mayonnaise. And that's all you really want. You don't need it to be liquid. You just want it to be softened so that you can spoon it easier. And I am going to add, I believe it is a 1/4 cup of sugar to that mixture so that, let's just put that there, so that that filling is taken care of. And you just kind of mix that in. And give it a good stir. Although, to be honest, I bet, I'm not going to test this theory right now, but I bet you could probably just add plain cream cheese if you wanted to kind of cut back on your sugar or whatever. And I think it'd still be amazing because the carrot cake is obviously going to have the spices and all the things. The only thing I would say that this might do is kind of hold its shape a little bit more. But if you wanted to try it without the sugar, I bet it would still be delicious because let's face it, cream cheese in anything by itself is delicious. Just saying. So we are going to get started with our dry ingredients. So I need 2 1/4 cups of flour. And let's see here. 1. That's 2. I need 1/4 cup. Okay. And then I'm going to need 1/2 cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So 1/2 cup of white sugar. And then 1/4 cup of the brown sugar. Brown sugar in carrot cake is amazing. Just adds that nice hint of kind of like a, I don't know, what's the word? Kind of helps to bring out the cinnamon and the spices and all that fun stuff. I don't need a knife for that. I can just kind of do that. I just want to pack it in just a little. It doesn't need to be firmly packed, but I just kind of like to tap it in a little. Okay, and then I want to add my leaveners, which are, I need both baking powder and baking soda. Mostly the baking soda because I've got that cream cheese and that is a bit acidic. So I want a 1½ teaspoon of baking powder, which if you recall is also 1/2 tablespoon. So if you've got the 1/2 tablespoon spoon, you can just use that. Nope. And then I just need 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And then put it open. 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. And then I'm going to add my cinnamon and my ground ginger and my salt. So I need 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon. So once again, that is going to be my 1/2 tablespoon, but it doesn't fit. So I'm just going to use 3 1/2 teaspoons because that'll fit. I didn't realize how much cinnamon I've been using these last few weeks until I looked at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go get more cinnamon. I'm out of cinnamon. Who knew that I would use this much cinnamon? Which cinnamon is very good for you. So if you didn't know that, it's good to put cinnamon in your stuff. So I heard yesterday it actually lowers blood sugar. So yeah, so that could be good. All right, and then I am going to add 3/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. So this is I just got this ginger just for this recipe. Obviously I will use it for other things, but let's open it up. Okay, so what did I say? 3/4 teaspoons. Okay. So I'm going to use 1/4. Oh my gosh, that smell. And then 1/2. love that smell. Oh my gosh, it takes me back to like, did you guys ever go to the, I don't think they have them anymore, but they used to have those like stir fry bars where you would go and just pile all of the ingredients you wanted into a bowl and then hand it to a chef, and they would do it on a big flat iron stovetop. Oh, what were those called? They had a couple of them. I don't remember all the names, but I used to always put dried ginger on my stuff. Oh, that just took me back. Those were so much fun. Oh, we used to go there all the time. Anyway, and three-quarter teaspoon of salt. This and this. All right, now I just want to whisk that together to incorporate all of the ingredients. And just kind of get a nice distribution of the cinnamon and the leaveners so that when you go to mix the wet with this, there's not obvious pockets of missing ingredients, so that everything kind of blends better together. And when you go to scoop it, you have an equal distribution of ingredients. Mongolian wok. Thank you, Jade. Yes, Mongolian wok. There was another one we had. Oh, flat top grill. That's what it was called in Chicago. There were two of them. Flat top grill was the other one that we used to go to. In fact, it would always be like our default. We'd spend like an hour trying to decide a place to go, and then we'd be like, let's just go to flat top. We're just gonna go there. So thanks for jarring my memory. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside. And now I'm going to do my wet ingredients. So I've got 2 eggs and a 3/4 cup of water, and then a 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Now again, like I was talking about the other day with, what the heck was I making the other day? Oh, the baked oatmeal, yes. You could use a different kind of oil if you wanted. Olive oil is a great replacement for vegetable oil. You'll see that a lot in like restaurants. You'll see like olive oil, blah, 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 dessert. It is a great tenderizer, and it's kind of richer, and it doesn't have that neutral flavor. So it's going to, you know, kind of contribute a little bit to the flavor. So a lot of people like to incorporate olive oil, coconut oil. Oh my gosh, could you imagine these with coconut flavor in them? And I do. I didn't think about that one though until just now, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to use vegetable oil. And you want 1/3 cup. Okay. And then you're just going to whisk this together. And then you're going to fold this, or you're going to whisk this into your dry. We have so many big, oh, Mongolians. I mean, well, I haven't lived in Chicago in 14 years, so I don't know. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's been 14. So I'm not sure if they still have them. I haven't seen any where I live in Indy, so they at least don't have them there, but they're so good. Oh, anyway, back to this. Okay, so it's real easy to whisk this. There's not that many eggs in it. Do that. Okay, now I'm gonna put this together. I'm just gonna add this into, now I'm just going to kind of mix this together until it comes together. It's okay if there's some lumps. It's not going to be detrimental, because again, you don't want to overwork that flour, right? You want a very tender muffin. So this process is actually called a quick bread process. And that is a technical term in culinary terms. Literally, it just means you have your dry, you have your wet, you throw it together, you bake it off. So you'll see, like, usually banana bread, any kind of loaf, baked bread, muffins is a derivative of a quick bread technique. So I just have a nice little batter, right? So it is quick, essentially. And also, that's also because you don't have any yeast added to the product, so it is a quick. There's your lesson for the day. try to give a little bit of lesson because I'd like to think that some people are kind of geeky with the techniques in the baking like I am. And if you're not, sorry. Gotta listen to me drone on. Now I'm just gonna fold in my carrots. Okay. And the carrots actually contribute a lot of moisture, just like zucchini does. I remember when I was a kid, I hated zucchini, but I would eat zucchini bread because I couldn't taste zucchini. Well, let's be honest, there's not a lot of taste to zucchini, but I still didn't like it by itself. But you'll see a lot of times that, especially like some of those, what you want to call it, like dietary alternative recipes, will substitute a lot of times like any kind of the liquid or maybe even some of the oil with zucchini, because that helps to keep the baked good moist. Another trivia for you today. All right, so that's folded in. Beautiful, beautiful carrot muffin batter, right? All right, now I've got my 12-cup cupcake, whatchamacallit, thingamabob, doodle thing, whatever. I am going to spray this. You could use cups. I don't know, when it comes to muffins, I like to just have them by themselves. I don't know. So I'm just going to spray generously the cups themselves and then a little bit around, because we're actually going to fill these fairly full, similar to what we did with the chocolate chip, but not as full. But just in case they kind of spill over, they don't stick so much to the top. That's just being cautious for me. I just don't want to go make too much of a mess because then I have to clean up later. So, all right. Now, this is where the fun part goes. So, I'm going to put in about, let's see, brought some spoons here. I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons worth. My Aunt Mary's watching. Hi, Aunt Mary. 2 tablespoons worth into the bottom. And with the carrots, it gets a little, if you have like a small ice cream scoop, like a tablespoon or a 2 tablespoon ice cream scoop, obviously it's going to make this go a lot quicker because you just kind of scoop and sweep. But, you know, I don't have that right now. So if I do, I think I forgot to look for one. It's fine. So now I'm going to take, so I just did the one and then I'll go back and do the rest here in just a minute. So I did 2 tablespoons-ish of the batter. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of the cream cheese and just put it right on top. And I will show you what that looks like. Okay. You see that somewhat? Okay. And then I want to add more of this till it's about almost 1/4 of an inch. So it's going to be just like a little bit shy of the top. And it's okay if you see a little bit of the cream cheese kind of sticking up out of it, because that's part of it. When it gets done, it's going to kind of come through to the top. So that is a full cup. So it's not as, you can even see like here, right? So when we did it with the chocolate chip muffins, it was like they were kind of piled up, right? This is still, you can just see the top if you look at it level, okay? So then you just go around and do that again. So I'm just gonna go and put these in, put them all in, and then go back, put the cream cheese filling in, and then go back and top them all off. That is how you expedite a quick prep. Kind of go through and do all of them. You don't complete one first and then go back to the other one. It's something that they like pounded in us in restaurants and culinary school and all the things is it's all about speed, right? Speed and precision. So incidentally enough, when I was in culinary school, my first baking class, mind you, when I went to culinary school, I wanted to do the full program, which included pastry, culinary and pastry. And I was like, okay. But then I got into the pastry and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I really didn't. Like, for years, I didn't like it. So it's funny that I love it now. But my first day of my first baking class, Baking 101, we had kind of a, I don't know, she was, I'm sure, a very nice person, but I think this was her first out of the kitchen teaching. She was young, so I think she thought she had to be, like, show she was tougher and whatever, and we kind of saw that she wasn't. But nonetheless, our first day of the baking class, we had to make muffins, and I'm sitting here thinking, I spent how much money in culinary school to learn how to bake muffins? Are you kidding me? Well, then that's when I learned more about, like, what it really was teaching us a quick bread method and, you know, the different methods of combining ingredients for baking. And of course, it all had a point to it. But I just remember thinking, God, muffins, so boring. Oh, blah, 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 blah. So I laugh at myself now when I think of that, because now I'm like, yay, muffins! So, okay, so now I've got all of my carrot batter. And then I'm going to just do a spoonful, tablespoon-ish, right? And drop it in just right in the middle. And this one's going along a lot quicker. And then, and of course, I forgot to tell you at the beginning, you want to bake these at a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. And obviously, when you test for doneness, don't stick your toothpick in the middle of the cream cheese, because it's just going to come up creamy, and then you're going to think your muffin isn't done. It is. The tops will be nice and firm, and then try to stick your fork, toothpick, knife, whatever you're using, into the muffin part. If you wait for these to cool, you'll have a more solid cream cheese filling bite. If you don't wait, and you can't wait, it's going to be more molten-y, so it's going to kind of ooze out, which, like I said, no judgment on either side. If you want to do that, by all means. So, okay, so I still have a little bit of cream cheese left here. I probably have enough for, looks like probably 2 or 3. So I can do one of two things. I can add more, but I'm pretty happy with how much cream cheese I have in here. So I'm going to just go through the rest of the batter, and I think I'll probably have a little bit more batter left. So this will yield at least 12 muffins, depending on how big your muffin. If you have the bigger muffin tins, then obviously you're going to have fewer. But if you've got the standard muffin tins, you'll have at least 12, if not a few extra, which, that's always fun, isn't it? You can have a baker's dozen. Oh, I'm just so full of all kinds of fun things today. So anyway, so you're going to bake these at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes until they're done. You obviously want to let them cool just enough to not burn your mouth when they're finished. But if you let them sit, the longer you let them sit, or at least until they're cool, the cream cheese will have time to set, and then it'll be kind of that glob of cream cheese in the middle, which I love. So, so this looks like I'm gonna have, I might need to add just a little bit more batter to a few of these, but I'm gonna have enough for at least one more muffin. And then, ooh, that was quick, close. And then, well, I'm going to barely have enough for one more. But that's okay. I'll have enough for one more. I got a lot on the side here. So, all right. One more little scoop here. Maybe a little bit more than one scoop here. All right, cool. So this is done. All right. So you can kind of see if it's level. A few of these you can just see over the top. so it's not all the way on top. And but they're nice and full muffins. And when you get out of the oven, you're gonna have a nice center of cream cheese in the middle and yummy goodness. So that's pretty much it for today. I think I'm making up for the uber long one I did yesterday. I looked at the clock after I was done. I was like, oh my God, I went on for like 55 minutes. So, but anyway, so yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'm gonna throw these in the oven. I'll take a picture. You show me yours, I'll show you mine. I wanna see how you guys are doing. And yeah, so that's what we're doing today. This was kind of an easy one. I love quick breads because literally they're quick. So that's why it's easier to whip up and you can have fun with getting them done and kind of throw them in the oven and forget about them. So 400 degrees, 20 minutes or until set. The tops will be pretty firm. And I think that's it. I don't know. We're doing macaroons tomorrow, which I am like, I'm going to do a batch today just to make sure that I do it. And because I want to make sure that, you know, the ones that I show you are good. But also because I've learned some things with making macaron. I don't know. People who do them, and I know my friend Jade who watches loves making them, but I just always seem to mess them up and I don't know why. It's egg whites and sugar and a little bit of almond flour. So I'm like, I don't know why, but whatever. I did read somewhere where it's best to let them, thanks Jade, it's best to let them sit once they're baked for like, maybe even overnight. And it's like up to like 3 hours to overnight so that it has the chance to really kind of firm up. So I'm going to test that theory because I read a bunch of different articles about it because I'm like, everybody's like, oh, it's so easy. It's so fun. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you're doing because it's not either for me. But I like to stretch my baking legs and increase my skills. So you guys are the lucky recipients to watch me do that. But no, I am excited to do it because I do like to learn new things and I like to kind of hone my skills in a lot more. So, and this is a great break of, you know, not just baking cakes and cupcakes. So I love doing these things. So I'm going to make some of those today and then we're going to do those. We're going to demo that tomorrow. I'll show you kind of how to whip the egg whites and pipe them and all that fun stuff. And then I'm still working on stuff for next week. So if you guys have suggestions, by all means, I'm still kind of thumbing through what people have given me and going to see what other ones we've got. But again, you know, it's not to say that I'm ignoring some people's suggestions. It's just more what works in a demo and also ingredients. If it's very difficult for any of us to find those ingredients, then I don't want to make it too complicated. It's not that I won't do it at another time, but just during this crazy time, you want to just make sure, you know, I just want to make sure that I'm respectful of the fact that people may or may not have everything that they need. So, okay, I did forget one thing. If you have any kind of like coarse white or even raw sugar, you can kind of sprinkle it on the top. And that's just going to give it a nice little presentation topper. Oh, it's so pretty already. Yay. Okay, cool. I'm going to let you guys go because I feel like I'm droning and talking needlessly. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of a Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye.